I think there are moments in time where things are supposed to happen and things are supposed to cross your eye for you just to talk about it or to express yourself. In this situation, I'm happy this did, because this is something that I read a while ago, but it wasn't the official translations. It wasn't released, and it was spotty translations. But thanks to my guys, Eric and Christian Tolado, the guys responsible for my intro, they reminded me of something that happened in the Ace novel. For you guys that don't know, there was an Ace novel revealed in different volumes. I think volume 2 is out now, in which a lot of pertinent information was released in these things. I had made a video about information from volume 1 in regards to Mihawk and Shanks, in regards to Shanks becoming famous because of Mihawk. So then it's really easy to discern exactly where Shanks was in his career when he started to fight Mihawk, and obviously where Mihawk was, because Mihawk was famous. He's been famous for a long time. So that means he's been really skilled for a long time. But today, what we're talking about is a quote or just an interaction with Ben Beckman and Shanks in regards to Ace. Now, a lot of people, when they think about Ace, they think of everything that transpired at Marineford. They obviously think of Luffy, but they also think of stupidity, arrogance, stubbornness, in regards to Ace and how he died, where I think Ace's death should be viewed as sacrifice and what someone is willing to do to protect their younger brother. But it's all about the side that you see and the perspective that you're coming from, your vantage point, your angle, your experiences, things that matter to you. That's why when someone doesn't like a character, you can't trash them, because again, up until this point, we don't know what they've experienced in life, and for them, certain things could turn them off. I say all that to say this. Ben Beckman gives a review or just his thoughts on what Ace is as a person after him meeting with Shanks, and it was interesting. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it was something that I really enjoyed reading, because character breakdowns in One Piece are not as frequent. Even though this was in a novel, Ben Beckman does get some hype, and he lives up to the portrayal of him having high IQ, being a really strong combatant, an older pirate. So everything we expect Ben Beckman to be is exemplified in this quote, in this interaction with Shanks. You guys should know Ben Beckman is older than Shanks. He was a known pirate before meeting Shanks, so for Ben Beckman, this is really on brand. So I'm going to read to you guys this interaction, then I'm going to give my thoughts, and then of course I'm going to ask for feedback from you guys, because I'm interested in how you guys feel as well, and see if we feel the same or even similar. Right? So this happens after Ace meets Shanks. Then after he leaves, Shanks asks Ben Beckman, "What do you see in him?" Ben Beckman replies and says this: "Say he beats Whitebeard. What does he do after that?" Based on the story he was telling, I can't envision it, said Ben Beckman. The entire world was his enemy. He would destroy the world order that kept the celestial dragons on top, and that meant destroying the 4 emperors too. That was all part of Ace's grand vision. Didn't seem very pirate-like. He was awful courteous at first, but then he starts going on and on about himself. The kid's more naive than he looks. Like he's not really a pirate, but a gladiator. If he wants to destroy the world that bad, why didn't he join the revolutionaries? No interest in the king of pirates or adventure? No intention to hunt pirates as one of the 7 warlords? No desire to be a naval hero, protecting the common people? If anything, the most appropriate place for him seemed to be with the Revolutionary Army, that group of so-called terrorists seeking to overthrow the world government. He's limiting his choices, all by himself. The way he's acting, the best he'll ever be is the captain of a single ship. Ben Beckman didn't see any potential beyond that in the young man named Ace. Heavy words. As an Ace fan, I'm not gonna lie, it stung a bit, because I think there's some truth in it, a lot of truth actually, but as an Ace fan, you recognize the flaws of a character, and I think a lot of times that's what makes a great character, a flawed character, a character that you can relate to, a character you can somewhat understand, a character that has troubles, a character that has issues, and that was Portgas the Ace. Now let's get into what Ben Beckman said. He said based on Ace and how he's going about things, he was trying to break the wheel without knowing exactly what it meant to break the wheel. Taking out the Celestial Dragons meant destroying the 4 emperors, but that would mean destroying the warlords as well, because they were part of a balance. And when I mentioned the Celestial Dragons, I'm thinking of the world government, right? So for Ace, what was his goal? Ace wanted to become a big name and basically separate himself from Gold Roger. So I'm going to become such a big name that Gold Roger and that name would not trump who I am. So Ace was troubled. Ace was a gladiator. Ace wanted to take down big names. He wanted to prove himself. He wanted to be a big name. But the issue with that, it was all coming from a bad place, because Ace was seeking acceptance. Ace did not feel like he had a right to be alive. He didn't have a right to be born, because from what he heard when he was a kid, the kid of Gold Roger, the devil, doesn't deserve to be alive. My guy Eric Tolado did have a good point about Ace never growing up, because Gold Roger, as explained by a lot of people, seemed to be a great man, a good man. But I think that's one perspective. You had half of the world saying that Gold Roger was a great man, someone to look up to. Then you had the other half, the people that lost to him, saying Gold Roger was a devil, somebody that did not deserve to live. And that's what Ace heard, and that's what Ace lived by. That strain, that burden of whether or not he deserved to be alive. Now, because of this, he was easily provoked. He was a violent person, very cold, rude. Makino did teach him politeness and how to work on that. And it's interesting in this excerpt that initially they said Ace was very courteous. Then he went on and on about himself, in which Ace, I think, naturally feels like he's an outcast because of his name and his lineage. Of course, there's some guilt in regards to what happened to his mother, but ultimately he blamed his father. But I think there's beauty in somebody that's trying to figure themselves out, trying to find their way because they're not sure exactly where they fit in. So it's easy to say, well, you fit in as a revolutionary, but who was his mentor necessarily? Yes, you had Dadan, but Dadan was a bandit. They were people that lived by themselves. They were people who lived to their own accord. Yes, you had Garp who was around, but was Garp around that much? So essentially Ace had no mentor. He didn't have anyone to guide him. And that's where Whitebeard comes in. The reason why Ace looked up to Whitebeard so much, it's not only because Whitebeard was a great man, right? And a lot of people looked up to Whitebeard because Whitebeard was essentially legendary. But one of the reasons why Ace essentially fell in love with Whitebeard and the Whitebeard Pirates took his name on his back was because of acceptance. Marco and Ace had a moment in which they talked about being on the ship and why they called him Oyaji. And Marco talked about just them, and it doesn't matter who they are, Whitebeard was willing to accept them. And for Ace, that's exactly what he was looking for his entire life. When you compare Ace to Luffy in regards to the reveal of their fathers, it's completely different, right? Where Ace, he was troubled by this information his entire life. Even though Gold Roger essentially made him who he is in regards to not running away, fighting for your friends no matter what, that's when you became a monster. That's who Ace was. Whereas for Luffy, got revealed that Dragon is his dad, doesn't bother him whatsoever. It shows a difference in character, which is good. And I think sometimes, as terrible as Ace's decisions were, you have to understand the fundamentals of a flawed character. And that's who Portgas D. Ace was. What do I think Ace should have done? Not in regards to Marineford, but in general, as a character, as a man. It's easy to say in hindsight, but you'd like for Ace to have come to terms with being the son of Gold Roger, accept it, and overcome it. Because Ace was essentially fighting against it his entire life, trying to combat that name because he felt like it was a curse as opposed to a gift. Whereas some people, I'm sure, would want to be the son of Gold Roger, want to be a D. For Ace, it felt like a burden. So is Ben Beckman correct? He made points, but I think it was a narrow view of what a pirate should be. For Ben Beckman, he has criteria in which he fits you into, in which it comes down to adventure, either hunting other pirates, king of the pirates. Ben Beckman had his criteria for what it meant to be a true pirate, but I don't think that exists. Because in One Piece, we have Luffy and Blackbeard. Which side is a true pirate? Blackbeard values the outcome, Luffy values the adventure. Either way, we respect both of their methods, but I'm not gonna say Blackbeard isn't a true pirate or Luffy isn't a true pirate. I think there are different ways to go about things. Ace was definitely a gladiator, willing to break the wheel, and he probably would have been best suited as a revolutionary. But who's to say a pirate can't try to break the wheel? That's essentially what Rox wanted. But he had a goal to become the king of the world. For Ace, it was a bit selfish in regards to destroying everything to feel better about yourself, but I'm not gonna jump and say that doesn't mean he's not a true pirate. Ben Beckman says he's limiting his choices. I think for Ace, he felt like that was his only choice because that's how he was feeling. So again, Ben Beckman is an older pirate, somebody that's been around the block, somebody that's seen a lot. So was he wrong? Yes and no, because from the outside looking in, he's spot on. But from the inside looking out, he has no idea what he's talking about because you don't know who Ace is, right? You'd have to learn this person and then make your accurate assumptions. I think Ace had all the potential in the world, but at that point it was clouded, it was jaded because he was fighting against himself. He was a young man trying to find his place in a vast world. And as much as he was fighting against his nature, piracy was the only thing or the only way he felt like he could do that. But guys, give me your thoughts. There's a legit breakdown that I'm going to do of this, but I just felt like I wanted to talk about this really quickly because Ben Beckman was spot on with his assessment based on what he knew. But I think this just adds to Ace as a character and why I love him so much because he's polarizing and people have so many different opinions on him and what he should have done, what he did, but that's what makes a great character, just like Garp, or Dofi. But guys, give me your thoughts. How do you feel about all this? Make sure to like the video if you did, subscribe to the channel for more content like this, follow me on Twitter at BragoDAce, follow me on Instagram at BragoD.Ace. Thank you to my patrons, I appreciate you guys so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.